We don't show you their pictures. We don't believe history should remember the name of those who took the lives of others. We hope history remembers the names of all those who lost their lives. So for the next full hour, with no breaks in between, we'll be doing our best to make that happen, starting right now. The very first confirmed victim of the tragedy was Sonny Melton. His mom calls her son's smile infectious. His wife and best friend Heather remembers it well.
His name was Sonny, but he literally was sunshine when he walked in a room and he smiled.
Is that when you first noticed about him?
Absolutely.
It was?
Yes.
Heather's a surgeon, Sonny a nurse, and they shared a calling, shared the OR because they didn't want to be apart.
We wanted to be together. I mean, there was hardly, I know we were newlyweds, but we had been together for about 5 years. But I don't remember a time when we were walking when we weren't holding hands. We fell asleep holding hands. It was, you know, my mom talked about one time when he just walked by and he just had to touch my shoulder. We just wanted to be together.
Together back home in Big Sandy, Tennessee, together in Las Vegas, together at the concert, together in the terror, together in the gunfire, the chaos, together till the end. Sonny Melton, who lived to save lives, died saving Heather.
I have no doubt in my mind. He sacrificed his life for me, but I think he would do it for other people he didn't even know. I just feel that he always puts people above himself, other people.
Heather says she can't imagine life without Sonny, says she's not even sure how to try.
I'm not really sure how you do that, because it's not something you learn in life. Like, you don't just learn to start tying your shoes and then, you know, or riding a bike. You're never prepared for something like this.
No one teaches you how to mourn when the light of your life goes out. Sonny Melton was 29 years old. 42-year-old Jennifer Irvine was from San Diego, where she practiced law. A friend tells her hometown paper that she was a smart, friendly, bubbly woman who enjoyed life, brought joy to others. An online biography describes a rich life outside the office, snowboarding, practicing yoga, earning a black belt in Taekwondo, learning rock climbing and skydiving. Before the violence erupted on Sunday night, a friend reports that Jennifer was singing, dancing, holding hands with her friends at the concert. A colleague shared this image of her on Facebook with a caption, "A tragic loss of a kind, generous, and beautiful lady. She will be greatly missed." Jennifer Irvine being remembered in San Diego. The arms of Nisa Tonks' son Braxton and Caden are bruised in mourning. The ache of their loss so intense they pounded the walls.
My mind's racing in a million different ways. There's so much I could say.
It's just, I'd have to describe it as an emotional roller coaster. There's just moments where you're just so sad, you're so angry that it happened, but you're so happy for the life that she had and what an amazing life she lived. But it was just so many emotions to the point where I was numb.
Their younger brother also remembers that amazing life and his amazing mom.
She lived life like it was her last, each day. And she didn't care what anyone else thinks.
She did it her way.
Yep. If it wasn't her way, she'd go off and do it her way.
Nisa did what she did and lived how she lived in Las Vegas, where she worked for a tech firm and raised her 3 sons and taught them, says her mom, the best lesson of all.
If you ever said something like, "Oh, I just hate that," she'd say, "Don't be a hater." She said that all the time. Don't be a hater. Even if you said you hated broccoli, she'd go, "Don't be a hater." She's just a wonderful person with huge light that we will not let be dimmed. We will not.
Nisa Tonks' mom, who has so many reasons to be proud of her daughter. Brennan Lee Stewart once said that if country music ever disappeared, he felt like he would too. That love of country music was evident in the songs he wrote, the music he played on a guitar. In a statement, his family says he was the kind of guy who always put others before himself. Right up until the moment his life was cut short, he shielded his girlfriend and he helped others to safety. Las Vegas was his hometown, and his family says he rarely missed a chance to go to a country music concert. He was a fan of the Atlanta Braves, the 49ers. He loved hunting, dirt bikes. Music was his passion. Brennan once described himself as an average blue jeans, worn-out boots, and plain T-shirt kind of guy. Brennan was at the concert with his girlfriend, and she told the Washington Post that she'll remember Brennan as a light that came into her life when she needed one the most. She says when he asked her out, he says, "How about I just propose to you now? We can have an Elvis wedding." Brennan Stewart was 30 years old. Rachel Parker was from Manhattan Beach. She worked for a local police department as a records technician, being mourned by the colleagues she worked with for the last 10 years in the community she served.
Whenever I walked by, she took time to look my way, wave and smile, and that wasn't just for me, that was for everybody. She was that kind of person.
He says no matter what kind of day Rachel was having, she did her job flawlessly. A true professional and a truly nice person. The department's Facebook page pays tribute to her passion for working with older adults, her love of dogs. She had two, Maddie and Izzy, both she adopted. The tribute includes this message: "Rachel, we love you, we miss you, our hearts are breaking." Rachel Parker was 33. Bill Wolf Jr. was celebrating his 20th wedding anniversary at the Country Music Festival, his wife Robin at his side. Bill worked as a wrestling coach and a volunteer Little League coach in Shippensburg, Pennsylvania for 6 years. The police department there confirmed his death in a Facebook post, saying, "It's with the most of broken hearts the families of Bill Wolf Jr. and his wife Robin share that Bill has been confirmed to be among the deceased as a result of the mass attack in Las Vegas." Bill's Little League board issued a statement saying, "We are deeply saddened by his loss, both as a friend and as a part of our Little League family. His leadership, enthusiasm, and care and concern for these children will be greatly missed and certainly never forgotten in this community." A previous employer described him as a personable, fun, and a devoted Christian.
It's definitely going to be a loss for everybody. You know, the kids, you know, that he coached, and they're going to have to deal with it. And, you know, you think your mom and dad are just going away, and then this happens. I just think of my own son that's 12, for him to have to go through something like that.
Bill Wolf Jr. leaves behind his wife and two sons. Lisa Romero Muniz was from Gallup, New Mexico, where she served as discipline secretary at a local high school and where colleagues have warm memories.
She was not only an employee of our school district, but was an incredible, loving, and sincere friend, mentor, advocate for our students in many of the schools in which she worked in. As a colleague, she was outgoing, kind, and considerate of all those she worked with, and we will miss all these great attributes that she brought and shared with our students, with our staff, and parents in our community.
Lisa's son Anthony says his mom wore her heart on her sleeve and would give you her last dime, no questions asked, and had a smile that would brighten the darkest night. Lisa Romero Muniz. We remember her tonight. Derek Bo Taylor lived in Oxnard, California. According to the Washington Post, he'd been given tickets to the Route 91 Harvest Festival for his 56th birthday. But he wasn't sure he'd make it to the concert. That's because Bo, a state correctional officer for nearly 3 decades, was overseeing a team of inmates helping battle a wildfire. The Post reports the fire burned nearly 1,000 acres before it was under control on September 28, just in time for Bo to make the trip to Vegas. The Ventura Star newspaper spoke with Bo's direct supervisor, who called him an outstanding officer. He also credited Bo for attention to detail and hard work. The Post also reports that Bo was a father of 2 grown sons who say he was strict with them growing up, but had softened once he became a grandfather of 5. Bo and his companion, Denise Cohen, took this photo together in Vegas. Tragically, Denise was also killed. One of her 2 sons says we can see by this last photo of her that she was indeed happy and with a person that loved her, Bo. The same son told a local newspaper he feels sorry for all the people in the world who never got a chance to meet her. Denise had 2 grandkids. She enjoyed volunteering in the hospitality committee at her church, helping with baby and bridal showers and other big events. She lived with a roommate in Carpinteria, California, who says Denise recently devoted her life to God. The roommate also shared these memories.
She was more than just a friend to me. She was truly like a sister or a family member. She was a very active social person. She just touched so many people's lives. She was a super positive, genuine, kind-hearted individual.
She also said Denise was thrilled to be going to the Country Music Festival and had been planning the trip for 3 months. She added this message for her dear friend.
Denise, we love you so much, and I know you're in heaven right now, and you're singing a country song and dancing and smiling at all of us, and I'll never forget you, and I wish you were here, and I love you so much.
Denise Cohen was 58 years old. Quinton Roberts was from Henderson, Nevada. He graduated from basic high school in 2015, coached his little brother's flag football team. The 2 brothers had just gone to a Dodgers game together. On Facebook, his aunt wrote that he had a contagious laugh and smile, a sweet soul. His hometown newspaper said Quentin liked the TV show The Office, liked basketball and golf, vanilla ice cream, orange juice. He was a Mormon, and a friend said he spent his Sundays with his family. When Bailey Schweitzer graduated from Centennial High School in Bakersfield, California, she stayed close to home, close to family, and close to friends.
She's the light that makes everything better, and there's no bad day with Bailey around.
Bailey worked in the family business, but she dreamed of working with kids.
She really wanted to be a kindergarten teacher or even to be a delivering nurse. She had a passion for kids.
Bailey was in Las Vegas with her mom, her best friend.
They were inseparable. She would come pick her up from work and they would go to lunch together. They would just go do anything together. That relationship was like no other. I have a daughter myself, and I just hope that our relationship could be the same.
Bailey Schweitzer was loved by her friends who say she made their world a better place. She was cherished by a family, treasured by a community, missed by so many. She was just 20 years old. Cameron Robinson took his last breath in his boyfriend's arms. He'd been shot in the neck.
I just want to make sure that he knew that he wasn't alone in those moments. And I held him and talked to him the whole time. And I know he wasn't the only victim, and I know that so many other people are going through exactly what I'm going through, and my heart goes out to every single one of them.
His partner, Bobby Erdley, held Cameron until the two were able to get onto a pickup truck bound for the nearest hospital.
We were all just loaded into the back of a truck, and there was Cameron that was unconscious and another gentleman that was unconscious. And there was a few other people in the back of the truck as well, and two gentlemen did CPR on both of those men the whole entire time to the hospital. And it was just so incredible to see that drive and that determination and just the will to help. And
strangers, complete strangers.
Complete strangers, and I didn't get their name, and I don't even know their face, and I just feel awful that I can't meet them and thank them for everything that they did.
Cameron worked for the city of Las Vegas. He loved to cook, he ran marathons, loved to travel. His GoFundMe page describes him as a caring, giving, and loving man who had some amazing dance moves. Is there anything else you want people to know about him?
I just think with the example that he was, I want everybody to know that no matter what you're going through or any hardship or anything, he was proof that you can overcome it, and not only overcome it, but be so much better than what you even thought. Like, he just had such a drive and determination to always better his life, and he did such an amazing job of that, getting what he grew up with and addictions and stuff that he dealt with.
He was living the life finally that he wanted to be living.
Absolutely, and he lived it to the fullest. And it was never enough. He wanted more, and he deserved more.
Cameron Robinson was just 28 years old. Susan Smith was the principal's right hand at Vista Elementary School in Simi Valley near Los Angeles, a mom of two grown kids and a rock in the office.
We were devastated. Susan's been with us a long time. She was wonderful, very well loved and really good at her job, great with the kids, great with the staff, and it's just hard.
Hard, colleagues say. Hard, parents agree, because Susan Smith was more than just staff, more than a manager. She was family.
I interacted with her a lot last year and this summer, and she, seriously, always smiling, just so kind, so patient.
Parents and staff alike paying tribute to Susan for touching lives, for making a difference, for doing so many little, big things and doing them so well. Susan Smith was 53. Jack Beaton of Bakersfield, California, he was at the concert with his wife Lori and some of their friends. People magazine reports that Jack and Lori were celebrating their 23rd anniversary. Early Monday morning, Jack's son posted a picture of his dad on Twitter asking for prayers, saying his father jumped in front of my mom and got shot. I love you, Dad, he wrote. Later, Jack's son posted on Facebook, lost my best friend. I love you so much more than you could ever imagine. The Los Angeles Times reports that Jack loved going to country music festivals with his wife and that he died protecting her. His wife Lori's father said as the bullets flew all around them, Jack lay on top of her. They told each other, I love you, and then he got hit. Lori told her husband she would see him in heaven. Jack Beaton was just 54 years old. Sandra Casey was a special ed teacher at Manhattan Beach Middle School near Los Angeles. She was in Las Vegas with her fiance, Christopher, who also worked at the school. A profile in the Washington Post says they bonded over country music. She died in his arms Sunday night. Monday morning, he posted this on his Facebook page. As I sit and mourn such a beautiful life gone too fast, all I can say is look up and watch the birds fly high and free today. And that's where I feel you smiling down upon all of us. I love you, baby girl. Love you to pieces. Back at the school where they met, the reaction, well, it was heartbreak.
We lost a person today who will not be replaced. She's in the hearts forever.
Sandra had taught at the school for the past 9 years. Colleagues and students alike remember her sense of humor, her devotion to the kids, the commitment that she had to learning new things and to making a difference, which she did, they say, made a big difference to her students, to their families, and to the community. Sandra Casey. This National Guardsman from Las Vegas was also among the victims. Sergeant First Class Charleston Hartfield. He was also an officer with the Las Vegas Police Department. He was also an author. He wrote a book called Memoirs of a Public Servant. The Nevada National Guard said that Charleston lived to serve the public and protect his family, calling him the epitome of a citizen soldier. Charleston was about 6'4". His nickname in the Guard was the Gentle Giant.
He was not only 6'4"-ish, but he was packed with some muscle. Intimidating to a lot of people until he started talking to you. He wanted to break through your interpersonal barriers, not through your face, to get to know who you are, what made you tick, what motivated you, instead of just, a lot of people picture people in the military as a bunch of robots that just do what they're told. He took an avenue of wanting to motivate people to do the right thing instead of just telling them. So that's why we called him the Gentle Giant.
Charleston was also a coach in the Henderson Cowboys Youth Football League. The team posted this on Facebook saying, Coach Hartfield touched many lives, both on and off the field. He was a great man who we all lost way too early.
You don't really know how hard it hits until kind of the dust settles, and it was, yeah, it's absolutely difficult. You know, someone that's has, you know, the whole world of potential in front of them and taken away that easy when they've been put in danger as in law enforcement and in uniform, and then going to something like a concert is what ends up being the way they take them.
Charleston Hartfield was just 34. Jenny Parks taught kindergarten in Lancaster, California. She was in Las Vegas with her husband Bobby visiting family. They shared a love for the LA Dodgers, named their first dog after the team. In fact, they both loved country music. Both were wounded. Only he survived. Bobby's Uncle Stephen remembers.
I cannot think of any better words to describe her than saying she was dearly a precious angel that had been gifted to us. When Bobby first brought her home, I remember how the entire family just adored her immediately. She was smart, she was beautiful, she was intelligent, giving, loving, never heard her say a bad word about anyone.
Stephen told the Washington Post that Jenny was absolutely the kind of girl that every mother wants to her son to bring home. But he struggles, he says, to even say that she's gone.
I can't even put it into words. 4 years ago, I lost my spouse, and Bobby held me in his arms and said, I can't even imagine what you're going through. I can't imagine what I would do if anything happened to Jenny. And 4 years later, he's living this. He's only 40 years old. This shouldn't have happened to them.
Kurt Von Tillo was at the concert with his wife and other family members. Another relative says he was loved by everybody, the life of the party, that he and his wife were each other's breath and life. They'd just taken their 2 grandsons to Disneyland. Described as an all-around great guy, a wonderful father and husband. He owned his own truck driving business. Kurt Von Tillo was also an avid golfer. There's a memorial for him at the country club he belonged to in Cameron Park, California, where friends said he was the most patriotic guy they knew.
He lived a good life, and he was a good man.
His golf buddies say he'll always be remembered for his smile, his laugh, his tremendous friendship. Kurt Von Tillo was 55 years old. Angie Gomez was a graduate of Southern California's Riverside Poly High School, where she's being remembered for her love of the stage. She was studying to be a nurse, a natural caregiver, says her friend Veronica, who remembers the future that she saw, a future that's now all in the past.
She had a boyfriend of 4 years who loved her so much. Their relationship was just something straight out of a movie, you know, and we would always joke around that they would be the first one of us to get married. And just, you know, I see her, you know, in 10 years, just typical white picket fence family, living her best life.
Angie worked in children's theater. She sang in a choir. She loved country music.
I know that she had the time of her life this weekend, and just knowing that her last weekend was spent doing something she loved, listening to country music and being with the love of her life is, I mean, I'm okay with that rather than something else.
A friend finding light and love, even in terrible loss. Angie's last gift to Veronica. Angie Gomez. Adrian Murfitt was a 35-year-old commercial fisherman from Anchorage, Alaska, a big fan of country music. His friends called him Murph. His mom told CNN that he was a jolly young man and caring, and that every one of his friends was his best friend. She said their family just been humbled by the outpouring of love from the many, many people whose lives he touched. Adrian surprised one of those friends, Brian McKinnon, with the tickets to the Route 91 Harvest Festival.
He looked forward to it. I mean, he bought me, I even told him no, I couldn't go. I went to the bathroom and came back, and he showed me his phone. And he's like, I already bought you your tickets and everything, you're going.
They were having a great time at the festival, enjoying the music until the shots started. Adrian was hit. Brian hunkered down next to him as he lay dying, pleading with him not to go, even as more shots rang out. He still clutches the hat that Adrian was wearing that night and plans to give it to Adrian's mom. Another close friend, Sean Alexander, remembers Adrian this way.
He brought everyone to pure joy and just his intoxifying laughter. Just the type of guy to take the shirt off your back. You'd see a car broke down, you'd go rush and get his tools and just go help him. You love to get his hands dirty and just put a smile on someone's face. It's not something you see in every person.
Another friend back in Anchorage, Harry Leffler, remembers him as just a good dude.
He just doesn't deserve to die. The guy he would always make you smile. He always told you he loved you.
Adrian Murfitt will be missed by so many.
She was a beautiful person. We all loved her. Inside and out. She was a lovely woman. She set the bar real high. She was perfect in every sense of the word.
Rhonda LaRoque's mom remembers the daughter who she says simply emanated love.
Rhonda touched everybody she knew, loved Rhonda. I don't think you could find one person that would have a bad thing to say about Rhonda. Mm-hmm. She was a beautiful, loving, kind, sweet daughter. She was a beautiful woman.
According to reports, Rhonda was a Jehovah's Witness. She met her husband on a mission trip. They had a daughter, Aaliyah. She's 6. Her cousin Craig says they love to travel, especially to Hawaii. They hope to move there someday. Her sister, Karina, is crushed. My heart is broken, she wrote on Facebook. I'm numb. I feel paralyzed. This doesn't seem real. All I can do is turn to God's word for comfort, just as she would want me to. May she rest now until her name is called and she is awakened in paradise. Rhonda LaRoque. Jordan McEldoon was visiting Las Vegas from Maple Ridge, British Columbia. According to his Facebook profile, he was a mechanic at a construction company. He's being remembered as a compassionate guy who, quote, always looked out for his Nana. He died holding the hand of a stranger.
I just sat with him. But I would like to think that if it was me, that somebody would have let me sit there alone.
Heather watched Jordan take his last breath and then spent the next 4 hours watching over him. She managed to first get in contact with his longtime girlfriend, Amber.
She broke down and she said, you know, he's the love of my life. This can't be happening.
Then Heather spoke to Jordan's mom about the life her son led.
She started telling me about him, you know, that he's covered in tattoos and that when he was younger, they called him Blimpy or Blobby because he was blimpy when he was young, and that he was just a good, nice, fun, you know, country who just, he loved his girlfriend and had great family and great friends.
Stacey Etcheber was enjoying the country music show with her husband Vinny when bullets started to fly. She'd come to the show from San Francisco, where Vinny works as a police officer. Vinny told her to run when the shots began. He stayed behind to try to help wounded concert goers. Vinny never saw his wife alive again. The San Francisco Police Officers Association confirmed Stacy's death in a statement, saying Stacy was a wonderful, caring wife, mother, and daughter. She'll be terribly missed. Stacy's 10-year-old son and 13-year-old daughter wanted answers after learning of their mom's death, of course, answers they may be too young to understand.
There was a question. Didn't know how to answer it, and the question was, why? Why did he shoot mommy? You know? And we didn't have an answer, you know? Why? Why mom? Why was she the one that was shot, and why was he doing the shooting? So, you know, I don't know, maybe one day we can explain that to them, and maybe they do understand it, but it was hard.
Her family described her to reporters as tough, a real cowgirl, a devoted soccer mom. Christopher Roybal was 28 years old, a Navy veteran who served in Afghanistan, saw some of the fiercest fighting in Afghanistan while deployed, and yet it was back on U.S. soil at this country music festival where he lost his life.
He was so proud to defend this country, and he was involved in a lot of heavy firefights in Afghanistan, and he tried to work through that PTSD when he got home. And he was doing well in his work. He was promoted. He recently moved to Colorado Springs to kind of try to, you know, get his life in order.
His former brother-in-law told CNN that Chris went to the concert with his mom to celebrate his 29th birthday. He remembered their last moments together.
The last time I saw him, he had a baseball hat on, and I said, I really like that hat. And the first thing he did was he took it off and he gave it to me. And I said, no, I don't want to keep your hat. And he goes, just keep it. I have more of them. And that's kind of the guy he was. He loved reciting movie quotes and comedies, and he loved being a part of the family.
Chris's co-workers at the Crunch Fitness Gym in Colorado, where he worked, said he was also known for his big teddy bear smile and his infectious laughter. Chris's former brother-in-law was also friends with another victim of the tragedy, Hannah Allers. She was just 34 years old. She was dancing with her husband, Brian, when she got shot in the head. She was a stay-at-home mom for her 3 kids, 14-year-old, an 11-year-old, and the youngest just 3 years old. Her husband tells CNN she's an amazing mom, active, helping their daughter's volleyball team. He said she was beautiful inside and out and never too good for anyone. Their friend Ryan remembered her this way.
She always had a smile and a hug for anyone who walked in the room. She couldn't hurt a fly. She was one of the kindest people I've ever met.
Hannah lived in Beaumont, California with her family for the last 5 years, but was from Redlands, California originally. John Phippen was at the concert with his son Travis, who was wounded when he stopped to help someone during the shooting. His dad John stayed with him, shielded a woman from a bullet, and was killed himself. He and his son are both being hailed as heroes. A neighbor and close friend described John as a man of integrity who always had your back. There's nothing he wouldn't do for you, didn't have to ask. The friend says once when they were camping together, someone flipped a boat and John went to help, and that's just the kind of person he was. Another friend said that John always had a smile on his face.
He was unflappable, just this big guy's guy. That, you know how there's always that thing about celebrities or politicians, who would you want to hang out with? John was that guy that you would always want to hang out with. A tragic loss. This is a really great guy that unfortunately a lot of people are never going to get to know.
John Phippen was 56 years old. Denise Salmon Berditis, she was 50 years old. She was married to her high school sweetheart, Tony. The couple lived in West Virginia. They'd been married for 32 years. Just before the shooting began Sunday, Denise posted a picture of her and Tony in front of the festival stage. She's a mom of 2, a grandmother of 4 with another one on the way. Denise died in Tony's arms. I spoke to him earlier this week.
Denise always had a smile on her face, and Denise never met a stranger. She it could be the grocery store line. She started talking to her at a concert with 20 to 30,000 people. She would be talking to.
She was making friends wherever she go.
Absolutely. Life of her surroundings.
Just last year, Denise decided to go back to school, started taking college classes as a full-time student studying business.
I can't say enough. I mean, her smile, and there wasn't a day that went by that I didn't, if I was out of town or something, I'd get a selfie on her way to the gym or on her way to school. I would get a huge smile, and if I didn't get it, I'd text her back, and she'd send me one back with a smile. I'm going to miss her greatly, and her family's going to miss her greatly. Her friends will miss her greatly. I just want the world to know who she was.
Tony told me that he wants the world to know that she was a great person. Steve Berger, like others, was at the concert with friends to celebrate his birthday. He turned 44 just the day before the shooting. Steve was 6'6", a former college basketball player. His dad told the Washington Post that he wonders if his height made him an easier target. Both parents talked to our affiliate WTMJ in Wisconsin.
He was the best type of son you'd ever want to have.
He would help anybody. He was always, he would walk into the room and light up.
Steve was raising 3 kids. He works as a financial advisor in Minneapolis. His parents didn't find out he died until Tuesday.
You got to pinch yourself. Say, did this really happen?
I just feel empty now. I don't know. I got up this morning and I just felt numb all over. I mean, you always think your kids are going to bury you.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Now we have to
bury our son.
Lisa Patterson was at the concert with 4 friends. She lived in Los Angeles, a mom of 3, active in church. She helped coach the softball team. Her husband, Robert, drove to Las Vegas from California with his son and eldest daughter on Monday morning after hearing about the shooting, then had to return to break the news to their youngest daughter, who's just 8 years old. Robert says no one cared more about people than his wife.
I was with her for over 30 years. I can't believe she's gone. I just told my wife how great she was to me and how she was the most beautiful thing and had the greatest smile and was such a warm, caring person. There was nobody that cared more about people and life more than my wife, Lisa.
Lisa's eldest daughter says she's getting comfort from hearing her friends' fond memories of her mom.
I got to grow up with my mom, and she was there for me through everything, and it breaks my heart that my sister's not going to get the same. She was such an amazing person. She cared for so many people. She was so enthusiastic. She was literally the best mom, and she was my best friend.
Sunday night at the festival, Brian Fraser was most looking forward to his favorite singer's performance, Jason Aldean. Just as his favorite song, Dirt Road Anthem, started, he and his wife Stephanie and a big group of friends moved closer to the stage to try to get a better view. That's when the gunfire started. Stephanie was there when he was shot. She watched as a friend attempted CPR and put him in a wheelbarrow to rush him to paramedics, but there was nothing they could do.
I knew I had to walk through that door and tell my 2 little ones that they were never going to see their dad again. And I didn't know how I was going to do that, but I did.
Brian was a father of 4, including a 10-year-old.
He told me this morning, he said, but Mommy, Daddy, we had so many plans, you know? He promised he was going to take me to Legoland. He promised we were going to Universal Studios. We had a lot of plans, Mommy.
Brian adopted Stephanie's son, Nick, when they got married. He was 11 years old at the time. Just this July, Brian became a minister so he could preside over Nick's wedding.
I couldn't even use one word, but if I had to, I'd have to say amazing, you know, stunning, too good for this world. He was a guy that took care of everyone that he came in contact with, went above and beyond for every single person, whether he knew them or not.
The couple also have a 4-year-old and a 17-year-old.
He would do anything to save my mom's life, that's for sure. Like you said, he stood up, took a bullet for her.
I got to see him on the ground, but I got to see him peaceful. I looked back and I had hoped that it wasn't true. But he had a very peaceful look on his face, and that's how I needed to remember my husband.
Brian Fraser was 39 years old. Carrie Barnett was 34 years old, out to enjoy an evening of country music and fun with friends when she was shot and killed. Her father said the two were incredibly close and that he misses his daughter so much.
She texted me on Saturday, and then on Sunday morning before the concert, "Hey, Dad, what's the score though? The Dolphin game." She loved football. She went to a lot of car shows with me. We spent a lot of time together. So it's really hard.
Her parents also said that she loved hummingbirds because they reminded Carrie of her grandparents who recently passed away. Her neighbor described her as a bubbly woman. California resident, Carrie had worked at Disneyland for 10 years. Disney CEO Robert Iger said in a statement that she was beloved by her friends and colleagues and that they were heartbroken over the loss. Victor Link, he was 55 years old when he died in Las Vegas, leaving behind his wife, Lynn. The couple were longtime music lovers. They'd gone to the concert together as they did so many times before. His sister told the Washington Post that Victor's love of music went back as far as she could remember, always buying records and CDs even when they were younger. She said he finally found someone who loved live music as much as he did in his wife, Lynn. Victor's boss at the mortgage company where he worked described him as the most genuine stand-up guy you'll ever meet. Says that he brought a smile to everyone's face. Victor loved to travel, like snowboarding, golfing, cooking, and wine tasting with family and friends. There's a funny bio on his company's website that included a mock job title, Tequila Quality Control Tester. Nicole Kimura was from Orange County, California. She was at the concert with 6 of her friends. One of the friends, Ryan Miller, a church pastor, wrote this on a GoFundMe page set up for her family. Nicole's heart was bigger than most human beings. Her spirit was beautiful. Her laugh was infectious. She just had a way of making every time we gathered an awesome one. Miller added, she made you jealous of how much she loved life, and if you didn't know her, you missed out on a better life than the one you have. Nicole worked for the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. Nicole was 38 years old. Calamedic traveled from Canada to Las Vegas for the Country Music Festival, where she lost her life. The 20-year-old was at the concert with her roommate when she was gunned down. Calla worked as a waitress at Moxie's restaurant in West Edmonton for the last 2 years. The restaurant's general manager confirmed her death, saying she was super mature, lighthearted, grounded, down to earth. Manager Scott Collingwood said Calla wasn't married and that this was the 3rd year she'd gone to that festival. She left a big hole in our hearts here, he said. Calla's longtime friend Lindsay told reporters that she was just an all-around good person. She was a loyal friend. She's been through a lot in her life, she said. She was in a very happy place. She was just a very fun person. The Royal Canadian Legion in Jasper posted a Facebook message that Canadian flags had been lowered in Calla's honor. The message reads, our flag has been lowered in memory of Calla Medig, a young, beautiful lady who was taken too soon from us. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family. R.I.P. Calla. Thomas Day Jr. was a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers football team, but Tom was a bigger fan of his family. Tom's daughter Whitney told CNN he was our rock. He was our everything. Anyone he came across, he put a smile on their face. She added all their friends called him Daddy Day because he treated everyone like one of his own. And it was an honor to us all to be able to share our dad with the world. Tom was an estimator at his father's construction company. He loved to go boating with his family on the Colorado River. A colleague says that Tom would spend time there enjoying his beer, and as you'd expect, he loved country music. He was at the festival with friends and family, including his 4 adult kids. His children, thankfully, were not hit by gunfire, but Tom was killed at the concert. Another member of their group also died, a friend of Tom's daughter, Austin Davis. Austin and Tom played on a softball team together. Austin was a pipe fitter from Riverside, California. His girlfriend of 9 years wrote on Facebook, this man is the love of my life, my world, everything. She said also, I am numb. I will miss you so very much. I will love you to my dying day, baby. A friend remembers Austin as a guy with a contagious smile who didn't half-ass anything in life. If he knew you, he loved you. His mother wrote on Facebook, the last text we received from Austin was him telling us, I kind of want to come home. I love home. His mom added, he's coming home, not in a way that any parent would want him to. We wanted to bring him home in our arms. Austin Davis was just 29. Michelle Vo had recently become enamored with country music. It was her first festival, according to the Washington Post. She was there alone, but made fast friends with another music fan, sharing their love of golf. Michelle Vo worked at New York Life Insurance in their Pasadena office. Her sister Kathy says there's no map to get through the grief. They're taking it slowly, remembering the light that surrounded her.
She was really, truly beautiful, inside and out. And she had this bubbly, infectious personality. And it's so magnetic. Anyone who has been lucky enough to meet her would know that she made it so easy and fun to be around her. She had that natural ability to make that you and her presence, you just felt like the best thing. You just wanted to spend so much time with her and just be there.
Michelle Vo was 32 years old. Heather Alvarado loved traveling with her husband and 3 kids. She was married to a firefighter in Cedar City, Utah. In a Facebook posting by her husband's fire department, Heather is described as someone who always saw the good in others, spent her whole life serving others in her family and community. Went on to say she was happiest when she was together with her family, especially her children, and she would do anything for them. Officials in Cedar City say the whole town is grieving her loss.
It's especially tough for us where we're a small community and we all work together, we train together, we see each other socially at athletic events and things like that, so it makes it pretty tough.
Heather Alvarado was 35 years old. Chris Hazencombe was 44. He attended the festival with a friend. That friend, Nikki Torres, told us Chris was the nicest person she's ever known. She said he loved to help people and thought of others before himself. She said they also thought the first round of gunshots was fireworks, as many people there did, but after the second or third rounds, they realized it was bad. That's when she looked over and Chris was on the ground, a gunshot to his head. His mom talked with that friend.
She said that they were there and that Chris had gotten shot and that he had covered her so she wouldn't. He took the bullet, is the easiest way to put it. That's Chris. That's Chris 150%.
Like so many others, he was shot while enjoying his love of country music. Chris's mother also says that Chris was a sports junkie.
He liked the WWF. He watched that faithfully every Monday night, even though it's phony. But he watched it. Yeah, and his Angel game and the Raiders and the Rams.
Chris worked at a Walmart store. Nikki Torres' husband told the Washington Post Chris didn't deserve this fate. He was kind and caring. He never held a grudge. Tara Rose Smith was an educational assistant from Canada. She was the mom of 2 young kids and was at the concert with her husband. They reportedly got separated amidst the chaos. A friend says that Tara was a loving mom who would brighten up a room. Nothing would bring her down. Another friend tells the CBC she was passionate about her work and education in her community and on her kids' sports teams. Her aunt calls her a beautiful soul, a wonderful mom. Tara was also a model. Sophia Model said in a statement to the Calgary Herald she was always a friendly face and had a caring spirit. A friend who volunteered with Tara for their children's lacrosse team told the Herald that she was a down-to-earth person, a thoughtful individual. Another family friend said so many hearts were broken with the passing of Tara that it'll change the lives of thousands. A childhood friend of Tara said this about her to Canadian media.
She is a force that will be missed, but her absence will never go away, and for that we're truly sorry for her family and all of us. We're all sorry that we don't have her.
Tara Rowe was 34 years old. Brett Schwanbeck was shot during the initial round of gunfire at the festival. He was a retired truck driver from Bullhead, Arizona. He was with his fiancée. She says 2 gunshots hit him, one in the head, the other in the leg. He died at a Las Vegas hospital on Tuesday afternoon. Brett leaves behind 5 siblings, 3 children, 5 grandchildren, as well as many nieces and nephews and cousins. His family describes him as having been funny, generous, kind, loving, and so full of joy. One of his nieces says he loved his family, cherished lake trips, family gatherings, hunting, camping, spending time with his kids and grandkids. She added he was the kind of guy who would drive 500 miles if you needed him to help you. Brett Schwanbeck was 61 years old. Melissa Ramirez was from California. She'd been looking forward to the Country Music Festival for months. The Washington Post reports she was especially excited to see Jason Aldean and that she and her friends had driven 3 hours just to see him. A cousin says Melissa wasn't afraid to speak her mind. She was really kind and really silly, really funny, she said. She talked to everyone and was a social butterfly, but she was honest and blunt. She would tell you how it is. She liked to cook. She was the best cook in the family, according to her cousin. She also enjoyed traveling, was a big fan of the Philadelphia Eagles because her older brother liked the team. Melissa graduated from Cal State Bakersfield with a bachelor's degree in business administration. The school flew their flags at half-staff in honor of her. Melissa Ramirez was just 26. Eric Silva's stepsister describes him as a great son, brother, and uncle who was loved by so many people and loved helping people. Eric's uncle says he was working as a security guard at the concert. His stepsister says she is sure he died trying to protect others there. Eric's uncle also told the Washington Post that his nephew's goal in life was to help others. He'd buy hamburgers for homeless people and helped his mom with her bills. An event manager wrote on Facebook that Eric Silva started working with him as a couple weeks before the festival, said he loved being in security, doing all he could to keep people safe before his own life was taken. His mom told CNN that she knows in her heart he tried to help people. He gave his life without knowing who the people were, she says, and a lot of people will miss him. He was loved by many people. Eric Silva had just turned 21 this past August. Doreen Anderson from Anchorage, Alaska, was at the concert with her husband John and their daughters. She was big into hockey and such a huge fan of the old minor league hockey team in Anchorage called the Alaska Aces that she was treasurer of the team's fan club. They were called the Cowbell Crew. Doreen's longtime friend wrote on Facebook that, quote, she was a great friend, a wonderful mother who loved her family more than anything. Her husband said, our family is dealing with a great loss. She was the most amazing wife, mother, and person this world ever had. We are so grateful and lucky for the time that we did have with her. Doreen will be remembered for her kindness, her smile, and all the good she did for other people. We remember Kelsey Meadows tonight. For the last 5 years, she was a substitute teacher back in her hometown of Taft, California. The principal at Taft Union High School, where Kelsey graduated and ended up working, says she was smart, compassionate, and kind. The principal also added Kelsey had a sweet spirit and a love for children. A senior at high school told a local newspaper, quote, "Rest in peace, Ms. Meadows. Thank you for all the great time you gave me as well as many other students." In 2010, Kelsey graduated from Fresno State University, where they plan to fly flags at half-staff in her honor on the day of her memorial service. Kelsey leaves behind a mother, a father, a brother, and a sister-in-law, along with an entire community that loved her. Kelsey Meadows was just 28. Candace Bowers is being remembered as a superhero by her family. The waitress and single mom of 3 from Garden Grove, California, was in Las Vegas for a rare weekend getaway with a friend. According to our affiliate KLAS, she leaves behind a 20-year-old son, a 16-year-old daughter, and a 2-year-old niece she recently adopted. One of her aunts tells a local newspaper that she never blinked when it came to starting over with a baby after raising 2 kids of her own. She was truly a beautiful person, said the aunt. Candace's family also tells us she overcame years of hardship. Recently, her life turned a corner. She adored country music, and they said it was a gift that she was able to spend her final moments doing what she loved to do. Candace Bowers was just 40. Dana Gardner of Grand Terrace, California, went to the music festival with her daughter Kayla, who survived. Her son Ryan's expecting his first child this month, according to a GoFundMe page set up by friends. Her brother-in-law wrote on Facebook that he'd miss the silly conversations they'd have. Dana worked at a San Bernardino County Clerk's office for 26 years, was known for her energy, her can-do attitude. Her boss told the San Bernardino Sun that she was a dedicated public servant. After the shooting, Dana's sisters went to a facility in Las Vegas where people were donating blood to thank them. They said even though Dana didn't make it, there were so many others who could have helped. They had this to say about their beloved sister.
She's a wonderful woman, most generous person I've ever met.
Grandmother.
Wonderful mother, grandmother, sister.
Dana Gardner was 52 years old. Jordan Rivera was a student at Cal State San Bernardino. She was in her 4th year of the university's healthcare management program. A faculty member there said she'll be remembered and treasured for her warmth, her optimism, and energy and kindness. She loved country music, obviously. She traveled to Vegas with her mom for the concert, according to the Washington Post. A friend of Jordan since they were young girls tells CNN that Jordan was happiest playing softball. The softball diamond was her heaven. She says Jordan always made a point to make everyone feel special, that the sparkle in her eye when she was with her family was blinding. Her mom was her right-hand woman, her friend said, but she was also a daddy's girl. Jordan Rivera was just 21 years old. Carly Crebaum was in Las Vegas with 2 friends. Just hours before the shooting, she posted this photo of all 3 of them smiling at the Venetian Las Vegas. That's her on the right. Later that night, Carly was hit by a bullet. According to our affiliate KTIV, the married mom of 2 lived in Sutherland, Iowa. A friend told the TV station that Carly worked at Walmart. Her Facebook page says she studied at Wayne State College in Nebraska. She was also an artist who once painted the windows of her friend's flower shop. The friend says she can't think of anyone who doesn't like Carly and added she didn't have an angry bone in her body. Carly's death has devastated her small town.
I think it's still kind of shocked. You don't expect that sort of thing in any town, much less, you know, our little town of 600 people.
Carly Crebaum was 33. Christiana Duarte, or Chrissy as she was known, was at the concert with her brother's girlfriend, a close friend of hers as well. According to her profile in the Washington Post, the brother's girlfriend tried to shield Chrissy with her body and was shot in the face. Amazing, the brother's girlfriend survived, but Chrissy's wounds were fatal. Along with the brother, Chrissy's remembered by her mom and dad and so many friends. She just graduated from the University of Arizona in May, where she was a member of the Sigma Kappa sorority. She worked for 2 sports teams in California. The Los Angeles Rams football team posted this tribute to Chrissy with a link to a GoFundMe page. They say she helped out at training camp and was part of the game day staff. And Chrissy just started working for the Los Angeles Kings hockey team as well. This week at their season opener game, the players wore this heart sticker with Chrissy's initials on their helmets. Her family and friends were holding out hope that she might survive.
I didn't want to believe it. She brought a smile to everyone's face. When you're looking for answers and she was lost, you're looking at everything, any footage you can find, anything that really shows that at least any glimpse of someone's face that you could say that was her.
And a family friend had this powerful message. He said what Chrissy would have contributed to society would have been amazing. Cristiano Duarte was just 22. Austin Meyer was at the concert with his fiancée celebrating his 24th birthday. He'd moved from Reno, California to Reno, Nevada, was a student at a community college there, an automotive student in the Transportation Technologies program. Austin's sister Veronica told affiliate station KSBW that he had dreams of opening his own auto repair shop after graduation and was excited to get married and start a family of his own. His fiance's father said in a statement through his community college, quote, "He was a wonderful young man and my future son-in-law. He loved attending the automotive program at your school, praised it all the time. The loss and grief his family and mine feel at this time is beyond belief." Austin loves sports, especially basketball, big fan of the Boston Celtics. His sister says he was a joy to be around, always smiling, always making people laugh. Austin Meyer was just 24 years old. Laura Shipp went out to the Route 94 Harvest Festival with her son Corey, who was most excited to see Jason Aldean perform. The two were separated in the shooting, and Corey spent the next few days trying to locate her until he finally found out that she didn't make it. The Washington Post says the single mom moved to Las Vegas just to be closer to Corey, who's a Marine. They went to concerts together a lot, especially country music concerts. Her brother Steve told her hometown newspaper she was his world and he was hers. He also said that Corey is broken at her loss. Laura was a big Dodgers fan. A friend told CNN she was smart as a whip and had a huge heart, made friends with everyone. Rosia Guillen Rocha was at the music festival with her fiancé. They were planning their wedding. Now her fiancé has to plan the funeral. Rosia was a mom of 4. Her oldest is 18, her youngest just 6 weeks old. Her children called her a supermom. Her 13-year-old son Christopher says that he loved hearing his mom cheer him on from the stands at his football games. His older brother Marcus says he'll now be there for his brother. Marcus also told us this.
She was such a hard worker, a fighter. Just everything she did inspired us just to be a better person, you know. It's going to be hard without her. Every moment was great with her, even if it was 5 minutes to 3 days or the whole month. Yeah, every moment with her was a great moment.
Rosia was definitely a fighter. Her son Marcus also says she once had a blood clot on her spine and the doctor told her she'd never walk again. She ended up proving everyone wrong and even ran half marathons. According to reports, she was a manager at Santa Ana, California restaurant. A friend said that Rosia worked hard but never missed out on her children's lives. She was just 40 years old. Patricia Patty Mestis loved her family, loved country music, and loved to travel. Her cousin says she loved to laugh, loved to smile, a big smile that would light up her whole face. He describes her as bubbly, energetic, honest, fun-loving, and says she was, quote, a very strong Christian, true to her Lord and true to her friends. Patty had 3 children, 8 grandchildren, 1 great-grandchild, and used to work as a convenience store deli manager in Corona, California. Her friend and former boss told the Washington Post that she charmed the customers with creative sandwich combinations and homemade sauces. He says Patty was the life of the party, a ball of fire, always up for a good time. Her cousin says the family has a video of her at the music festival, her hands up, smiling, just enjoying the music. He says it was the best part of her life, and he'll always remember the almost constant laughter whenever they were together. Patty Mestis was 67 years old. Carrie Lynn Galvan was a mother of 3 who worked at a steakhouse in Thousand Oaks, California. The GoFundMe page created for the family describes her as a devoted wife and mom. Her sister wrote that Carrie's days started and ended with doing everything in her power to be a wonderful mom. Carrie reportedly attended the concert as part of a weekend getaway with her husband, Justin. Justin's a former Marine who served in Iraq. He performed CPR on his wife after she was shot. He said he did everything he could to save Carrie's life, but that she died in his arms. The Washington Post says the couple met in high school or shortly after and were married in Jamaica. Carrie's father-in-law says she was a great mom who so loved her kids, ages 2, 4, and 10.